Hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again. This is Battle with Ola and my name is Mujela Olua. That's where the Ola comes from. Thank you so much, for stopping by once again. Today, I want to start by thanking you all for subscribing to the channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers strong and I'm really grateful for that channel because it's a testament to the fact that people are getting real value from this channel. The subscription number, it's a testament to the fact that you're really getting something from this channel, and I'm glad to be the one dealing out that value. As I like to say, I love talking about law. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. So I'm really glad that creating this channel to talk about law, has given me, an opportunity to be able to converse in legalese and law talk or law speak with as many people who are also interested in that type of discussion. I'm really glad. I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm glad for the audience that you've accorded me on this channel. Thank you so much for all the links that you've shared with your friends and foes alike. Thank you so much for the comments that you've left me, the mails that you've sent to me. Thank you so much for liking the videos. Thank you so much. I see the analytics. I'm really grateful. I'm glad for all the comments that law students leave me about how, the channel has really helped them with their studies in law school. I'm glad about the comments that laymen have left me. Someone even said they are not a lawyer, but, they just love what I'm doing here. Thank you so much, Father. That's the person. And also I'm glad that lawyers have also found value on this channel. I see people asking me questions about court procedures and what have you from day to day, and I see the feedback about how, I read this on my way to court, I used this and that. Thank you so much. I'm really glad. I'm grateful. Thank you. In fact, this past week has been has been wonderful comment wise. Thank you so much for all those comments that you've been leaving me. I'm really glad. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. Today we want to talk about a procedural issue, and it's very crucial. I don't think it's something that is taught either in law school or at the university, because I know that I wasn't taught in those two places, but I read it up on my own sometime in 2017. I read the case NNPC and Udenzi. It's a 2016 case. I read it in 2017, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about pre-action notices. Pre-action notices. We don't really give, much cognizance or much attention to that procedural issue here in Nigeria, as far as I have seen, especially as regards the teaching of law. But I know that it is something that is very crucial to law practice, and it's something you should know, even if you're a layman, because you might have a lawsuit in the future, and even if you're a law student, and more especially if you are a lawyer. It mainly or mostly affects civil suits, civil matters, so we'll limit ourselves to that. Let's talk about pre-action notices. A pre-action notice is a procedural requirement, that mandates a prospective litigant through their lawyer, of course, to inform a statutory body that they are going to sue them. Let me break it down. I am Mr. A. Mr. B has wronged me, but Mr. B is a statutory body or an agency or a lawfully established organization, and I want to sue them. The law mandates me to look at their establishing law, that is the law that established that company, that organization, or that body or agency, to discover if that establishing law has mandated or required that a pre-action notice be issued to them before they are taken to court. So essentially, it means that if that is a requirement, I have to first write them a letter telling them that, you wronged me in so and so capacities, and I intend to sue you if you do not do anything to right this wrong within so and so period. That is a pre-action notice. I know it sounds familiar because it sounds like ADR letters. In fact, I would say that these days we issue pre-action notices in practically every form of action, because ADR is now a requirement under laws in Nigeria and generally the world over. So pre-action notices, while they are statutory requirements, they can be likened to the ADR letter that we write, the letter of demand, the letter of this and that we write once we discover that there's a cause of action or that a wrong has occurred. So we can liken them to pre-action notices. But if you want to be extremely particular, I would say that pre-action notices, are more relevant to, statutory bodies and bodies whose enabling laws or establishing acts have required them. So in NNPC and Udenze was claiming that, he had a piece of land and that NNPC had encroached upon it by, uprooting and destroying, trees on the land and crop and what have you, and trying to build a mega station on the land, a filling station. So he sued them for trespass, for all of that. But NNPC brought a PO, that's a preliminary objection. I think I've talked about preliminary objections briefly in one of the past videos. So I hope that you have watched that video. We watch it. So a preliminary objection is an objection that you bring, calling the court's attention to a fundamental issue, especially as to the jurisdiction of the court to hear the matter before it. So the court has to deal with that before they even start trial, or before they go into the merits of the case that is before them. So NNPC brought a preliminary objection challenging the jurisdiction of the court because a pre-action notice had not been issued on them by Udenze. That is, Mr. Udenze did not notify NNPC that he intended to sue them. And NNPC's enabling law mandates any prospective litigant or any victim or any person who has been wronged by NNPC to first inform them, to issue them or issue upon them a pre-action notice, issue or issue, which one do we call it, whatever, to issue them or issue upon them, or to issue them a pre-action notice stating that you have wronged me, this is the redress I want or I seek, and I'm going to sue you if you do not do something about this, within so and so days. So that's a pre-action notice. So the trial court dismissed the preliminary objection, but NNPC appealed. That's why it's NNPC and Udenze and not Udenze and NNPC. Because, Udenze asked the original case, but NNPC appealed, the dismissal of the preliminary objection and sued to the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal upheld their appeal and said that, according to the enabling laws, the Establishing Act establishing NNPC, which is a statutory body, anyone that wants to sue them has to issue on them a pre-action notice telling them that they are going to be sued within certain days if they do not redress the wrong that's been committed or occasioned by their act or their inaction. So you need to do that. So it was upheld, and that's why we have that decision in NNPC and Udenze. It's a 2016 decision. That's the citation on display. So there are other cases, a plethora of cases, to the effect that you need to issue pre-action notices or statutory bodies or on agencies, companies, and whatever, whose enabling or establishing acts have mandated a pre-action notice before you can succeed against them, in any civil suit. So take notice. I would say that you be safe. All you need to do is just, if you're a lawyer and any client briefs you in a civil matter, the first thing is to write the wrongdoer. Just write them. Tell them you have committed so and so wrong. This is the redress that we seek. We can come to the table, or if you want, or if you do not want amicable settlement, and if we do not receive any favorable response from you or any redress within so and so date, we are going to court against you. So that's it essentially. Now, a pre-action notice is very important because, one, the court or the law, is protecting the prospective defendant to, give them the opportunity to settle the matter amicably, not just the defendant, but even the claimant. So instead of going to court, clogging up the wheels of justice, clogging up, the court's dockets and wasting time, wasting resources, why don't you just write these people? Let's see if they want to come to the table and, settle. And then you can settle. In some jurisdictions, settlement is the order of the day, as opposed to some other jurisdiction where every Tom, Dick, and Benga goes to court for every teeny-weeny little issue or issue that could have been settled amicably. So the law is seeking to promote amicable settlement, ADR, alternative dispute resolution, by mandating pre-action notices. That's one. And two, in the event that parties cannot settle, the law is giving the defendant adequate time to prepare their defense. You would agree that in criminal litigation as well, there's a constitutional requirement that a defendant must be afforded all facilities and resources needed for him to prepare his defense, in any criminal charge before the court. So same thing with civil suits. The law would not allow you as a litigant or a claimant or a plaintiff to spring a surprise on the defendant, especially if it's a matter that can be settled, and even if it cannot be settled, so that they can adequately prepare their defense. So I'd say that if you have any grounds against anyone, if there's a course of action that you've identified, the first thing to do is to first seek to know or determine if the other party is protected or has the binding requirement for you to issue a pre-action notice on it or on them before you take them to court. And when you have found that, you should issue a pre-action notice. A pre-action notice, a letter would suffice titled pre-action notice, and then you explain the course of action, you explain the wrong, you explain a redress, encourage them to come to the table if they will, and if not, you tell them within so and so date you will be taken to court. Now, it's important for you to look at the establishing law of any such body, because it might also prescribe that, give us 1 month or 2 month pre-action notice before you go to court. In the case of Udeze, NNPC's Establishing Act stipulated that NNPC has to be notified 1 month ahead. There must be a 1 month pre-action notice. So that's important for you. If, for instance, you want to sue the NPA, the Nigerian Ports Authority, it is important for you to check the law establishing them. Do I have to issue a pre-action notice? How many months notice do I have to issue to them? And you have to comply, so that your case will not be struck off or thrown out of court at the first, preliminary objection given by the other party. So that's essentially what pre-action notices are about. So please check it before you go to court, before you carry out your threat of "I will sue you, meet me in court." So that's all I have for you today. I hope you've learned something new. I hope that you've been refreshed. Your memory has been refreshed if it's something that you knew before now. So, and if you are a layman as well, it's important for you to know this, so that in case your lawyer might not have his or her mind to that, you call their attention to it, so that you don't lose time, you don't lose resources. That's all I have for you today. I will see you in my very next video. Do not forget to subscribe to those.